This is the difference between the wealthy people and people that are fucking poor. You are going to go out and focus on how to make income. You need to make money. I don't care if that's through starting a cleaning business, starting a business that comes to these nice homes in Miami and picks up the dog shit, if that's from doing solar. I don't care how you do it. Most people, like, they understand this concept. I need to make money. I need to make hundreds of thousands, a million, millions a year. That's the goal. This is where everybody goes wrong. They make the money, and then they take the money and they burn it on lifestyle. They make $1 million. I've seen this happen with kids in solar sales over and over and over again. They make $1 million or $2 million in a year, and they take that money and they go buy the cars and they go on the trips and they book the PJs, the private jets, and they're at Poppy Steak and Carbone, and they got the girls and they got all this shit, right? And they're living a good life. The discipline of the financial discipline and the patience to take that money, and instead of being excited and going and living this life and buying all these things, you invest it into cash flowing, appreciating assets. My vehicle right now is Section 8 real estate. I'm buying houses in areas at a very low rate and getting insane cash returns. We're fucking printing money with this, right? But I'm taking the money that I earned, that I hustle, and I'm putting it into this real estate. And then the real estate is paying me. And then I'm going out and I'm buying that G-Wagon. That G-Wagon right there, this Cullinan, the mortgage on this $20 million home right here is paid for by passive income. It's paid for by free cash flow because the money that I made, I invested it properly, and then it pays me for lifetime. And so think of it like this. Do you want to have a pile of money or a river of money? Because when you have a pile of money, you're going to spend it and it goes down, and you got to go earn to make more. You got to go replace it. When you have an ever-flowing river of money, because you had the financial discipline that I just talked about, the right coaches, the right mentors, and the right advice to make the right moves, then you can go out and you can fuck the money off all you want, right? Your mailbox money hits the bank, the government, Section 8, the federal government sends you all your rent payments. You can go out, blow it on the trip, blow it on the girl, blow it on a car, and guess what? On the first of the month, it's back. And it's going to be back every month, month over month, for the rest of your fucking life.
Eric, thank you so much.
Yeah. That's the funny thing, like people always ask, how much money do you make? But at the end, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And number two, it's not just about what's your cash flow, it's what's the valuation. Because a lot of people just think like, oh, I want to make $100,000 a month, but they don't think in 3 years I want to exit for $100 million. Because you would give up $100K a month if you could know in 3 years you're going to sell for $100, $200 million, right? So it's a little bit of a different mindset shift in running a business.
When it comes to the way that people look at money, what would you say is the biggest difference that separates the middle class from the wealthy?
Well, besides the hard work and like going out and taking risk and making things happen, I've seen it, and it's their belief systems. So what you believe to be true is what manifests into your life, right? So when I was young, I didn't think having a Lamborghini was crazy. I didn't think making millions of dollars was crazy. That was not the reality I put inside my head. Now, most of society puts this traditional box system of I got to go to college, make $100,000 a year, and that's their belief system. So anything outside of that, like making millions of dollars, becomes a very hard reality for them to understand. And so if you can just see money from a different viewpoint and not have any emotion towards it, all of a sudden you'll see how much easier it is, because it's not being put on a pedestal and you're not like, oh, it's so hard to get. It just becomes your everyday life.
What's been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime that you'd pass on to the younger generation today?
Well, specifically for young people, it's the power of the compounding effect, right? Specifically, what one of my mentors has helped me set up is called overfunded whole life insurance policies, where you actually get to become your own bank. In a sense, you invest money into the market, you get it to compound, but then you can actually take collateralized debt against it tax-free. And so instead of just using your money once, like buying a Lamborghini, you put it in an IUL first, and then you actually get to pull out 80 to 90% LTV on that loan. And then your money still sits in there and compounds. And so setting that up, I think, is really important. And then you can start doing other fun, crazy shit like buying Lamborghini. But you need to learn how to stay optimistic through the failures, because you will fail way more than you win. And a lot of times those failures start getting to your head and you eventually quit because you don't think that this is right for you. When I was 18 years old, I remember I was driving to Las Vegas. I'll tell you a quick story. I was driving to Las Vegas with my family. I decided not to go to college, and they had told me, because I was looking at these deserted houses out there, I said, man, who would ever live out there? They said, Ryan, if you don't go to college, you're going to live out there one day. And I remember envisioning me one day traveling, living the life of my dreams, driving a Ferrari, and I had absolutely no idea how I was going to get there, but I just knew it. I truly, truly believed it. And so the funny thing when I got this Lamborghini is I was on a business trip in Vegas, and there was this full circle moment where I remembered when I was 18, and so I went to this exotic dealer, and I was going to buy a Ferrari, but there was just too good of a deal on this Aventador, which is also, you know, something I've been wanting. So I said, fuck it, let's buy it. And now my 18-year-old self is like, fuck yeah, Ryan, we did it. You know what I mean? And final thing, you need to learn how to sell. Without sales, there is no money, right? Sales at the end of the day is taking one piece of value that you might have and someone paying money for it. That's all it is. It's not hard at all. For instance, there's a kid behind me. He wants to sell me on listening to one of his rap songs. Now, am I in the mood for rap right now? I actually am. So I'm going to pay him for the value that he's going to bring me. So you have to learn how to sell value that people will pay big money for.
A lot of people are going to hate this shit, but I believe to not worry about spending and just worry about making more has helped me get wealthy. You know, like if I was worried about, like I used to be, all the small expenses, checking my credit card bill super tediously, I feel like I wouldn't be here. I worry about the big picture now. When I have employees like, hey, I want to spend this on this, and like I try not to be cheap. If it's needed, we do it, and I just focus on making more. I make sure everyone's happy and everyone's in the right mindset to just go pump out those sales, you know?
Yeah, cool, my man.
Well, I would say one big important secret to scaling is not quitting. A lot of people jump from one business to the other because they get their ass handed to them. If you can stay in the same business and take the punches enough times to see them coming, you can start to dodge them and get your licks in. And I think for me, man, is I always kept the main thing. I burned the boats. I didn't go starting a million different businesses. And even if I did start a little side hustle here or there, I put the majority of my energy into one tree that I was watering, and it bared fruit. And now that it's bearing fruit, now we're just racking up everywhere.
We go all over the country asking business owners their advice to young entrepreneurs. Could we ask you a few questions for the channel?
Yeah, you know what, man? Just get in the fucking car.
Let's get it, man. I appreciate you. How have you been able to consistently close big deals, landing big clients over the last 15 years as an entrepreneur? What's the secret to selling?
When it comes to selling, especially in construction or any very like industry-specific thing, you need to be able to sell with conviction. You need to be able to look a man in the eye and tell him, I'm going to hit your schedule. You're not going to have to worry about any bullshit. We are the best people for this job. Send me a fucking contract. And I've done it like that. I've called a guy up and he'll be like, you're $10,000 high. I said, cool, I'll give you 5, send me a deal. And because they know that you're going to get the job done, they'll give you that deal even sometimes when you're hired, because they can't afford for the schedule to drag out, because that's going to cost more and cost of money on the construction debt than it would if they hired the guy that was 10 grand cheaper than you. So being able to sell with conviction, I always say that you need to believe in your product so much that you truly believe that if you do not sell to that person, you are fucking them over. That's how much you should believe in your product. When you can believe in your product like that, then there is nothing that's going to stop you from selling, because you know, and they can see that conviction in your eyes, and you're like, you know what, this is the right guy for me.
What is your best self-improvement advice for the younger generation out there?
As unpopular as it might be, get your ass in shape. When you walk in a room, people treat you differently. When you tell somebody that you can do something, they believe you, because you're walking around displaying discipline.